Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Hugh Morgan. I'm the University Organist at Stanford University, and I'm delighted to welcome you to this week's Lunchtime recital. Today, we continue our exploration of some of the works by Johann Sebastian Bach that were written during his tenure in Weimar. Bach lived in the city of Weimar at two different times. In 1703, he was appointed for 6 months by the Duke Johann Ernst as a violinist in the ducal orchestra. Then 5 years later, he returned there with his pregnant wife, Maria Barbara, and this is where Bach's first 6 children were born, including his most famous sons, Wilhelm Friedemann and Carl Philipp Emanuel. This was an extraordinarily productive time for Bach. For the first time, he had trained musicians at his disposal, and also, it was at this time that he began to coalesce the idea of pairing preludes with fugues. Indeed, in terms of organ music, this was the single period of time in which he wrote the majority of his mature works. Some of what he would write in Weimar would go on to be recrafted when he worked later in Leipzig. But, as I said, much music was written. Early versions of the Brandenburg concertos, over 30 cantatas, early versions of his partitas and sonatas for solo violin, and so on. To open today, I'll play 2 chorale preludes from a set known as the Orgelbüchlein, the Little Organ Book. This large collection consists of 45 short pieces and was designed as a pedagogical work. Indeed, the title page of the autograph says that it is a book, quote, in which guidance is given to an inquiring organist in how to accomplish a chorale in all sorts of ways, and at the same time to become practiced in the study of pedaling, unquote. Very, very important. The first that I'll play for you is Liebster Jesu, wir sind hier, Dearest Jesus, we are here. This is a gorgeous piece and really very clever. The melody of the hymn is presented in the right hand, and it forms a canon with itself. So 2 beats after the melody starts, a second voice enters. It's the same as the first voice, but in the dominant key of E major against the A major of the upper voice. And it carries on like that, always at 2 beats interval. Absolutely remarkable music. Then one of those little gems of Bach, Ich ruf zu dir, I call to you. Just about 16 bars of music, but goodness, how much pathos he packs into this tiny structure. The chorale or hymn melody is in the right hand, presented quite plainly. Then the middle voice is a continuous line of 16th notes, always moving in the same ascending and descending figures. Below all of this, the bass line plays a steady heartbeat-like string of 8th notes. Just an extraordinary work. Then we'll move on to one of his larger scale works, the Toccata and Fugue in F major. You may remember my saying in the past that some of these preludes and fugues don't belong together. Well, here's one case where there is no evidence to suggest that they were written at the same time, but goodness me, they make an outstanding team. The Toccata is a work of great virtuosity, featuring a pedal line of some difficulty. The Toccata begins with a canon between the 2 hands at the beginning, played over a sustained pedal note. The pedal sits on that low F for a long, long time before it flies off into a solo of 16th notes. This process is repeated until we come to an ascending figure in the soprano. And these 2 motifs fight back and forth for the duration of this piece before coming to a dizzying conclusion in measure 438. It's a big piece. The fugue is of a similar scale and is absolutely jammed with contrapuntal ingenuity. The sense of growth and direction throughout it result in an architecture of enormous grandeur, complexity, and beauty. As the British Bach scholar Peter Williams said, quote, to the composer, the toccata and the fugue must have represented perfect complements, unquote. All of what you're hearing in these recitals are performances which are recorded in Memorial Church over the years, some of them at Sunday services, some of them at concerts. So if you hear background noise, that's why. I do hope that you will enjoy these works by Bach. Thanks for listening. Be well, take care, and stay healthy.